Alright, so the first command we saw is to assign a name to a Nexus device. This command is both common in 5K as well as 7K. You can use switch name and then the switch name, or you can also say host name. Any one command you can use. Both is to assign name to the device. Next one. Now, if I want to see the version, the operating system version that is running on Nexus, what is the command? As usual, you can type show version command. Show version command will give us the version. This is common command not only in Nexus, in every Cisco device. Show, this is same both for 5K as well as 7K. Next, you want to see the modules that is installed on the device. You want to see the modules that is installed on the Nexus device. We know that in Nexus everything is module based. We have F1 module, F2 module, F2E, F3, M1, M2. There are various modules available. SOUP 1, SOUP 2, SOUP 2E. These are all modules. Even the power slots are modules. Fabric interconnect is module. All module based. So if you want to see the modules that is installed on Nexus 5K or 7K, the command is show module. This we already know. Alright, next is I want to see the features that is available. In Nexus everything is feature. We need to go and enable features. Even if you want to run OSPF, you need to run feature. Now if I want to see what all feature available for me in Nexus 5K or 7K, the command is show feature. Show feature is the command to see all the available features in the Nexus device. Next, yes, if it is not enabled. So show features will show all the features available, but if you want to see only the feature that is enabled, if it is not enabled, you can enable in exam. Now if you want to see only the features that is enabled, then you type the command show feature. You can use the filter, the pipe symbol, and then say include enabled. Now it will list you all the enabled features. Show feature, pipe, include enabled. Command 6th. Now you want to know the type of Ethernet interface that is there in your module. Type of Ethernet interface, meaning what? Whether it is 10 gig Ethernet or 100 gig Ethernet or gig, 1 gig, or what type of Ethernet interface. See, in Nexus everything is Ethernet, but we will not know whether it is 100 gig or 10 gig or 1 gig. So that if you want to see what type of Ethernet, whether it is 100 or 1 or 10, we need to type this command show interface the Ethernet name, Ethernet, let's say 3/10, third module, 10th port. Okay, so Next, 7th. Now I want to see the image file that is present in my device, the image file. I want to see the image file. So the seventh command that we are going to learn is about the image. I want to see the image that is there on my device. Image, the operating system image. What is the command? Very simple. Whether it is 5K or 7K, you just type dir. That's all. Type dir, it will show you the image in the directory. 8th. Now you want to configure a checkpoint for your configuration file. Checkpoint meaning, you thought, you are thinking that what you configured so far in your Nexus box, they are correct. So you want to make a checkpoint. Now why someone needs to make a checkpoint? Now if I make checkpoint now and do something for another 2 hours, and if I don't like, I need not to start from the beginning. I can go and reboot my checkpoint. I can go and restore from the checkpoint. I can revert back to the checkpoint level. That's why we need checkpoint. Checkpoint. So in Nexus you can create checkpoints. I want to create a checkpoint so that I can, if I want later, I can revert back to this level. Now how to create a checkpoint? Very simple command, as we said, checkpoint. Command is also checkpoint. 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 Give any name, CKP1 or CK1, checkpoint 1. So this will create a checkpoint to our configuration file. CK1 is the name. CK1 is the name. Alright, so what we saw now is creating a checkpoint. Fine, after creating a checkpoint, I do a lot of work and then I found that something went wrong. I want to go back to my 2 hours back level. So what I can do is I can revert back to I can switch back the running configuration to the checkpoint that I created. I can switch back the running configuration to the checkpoint that I created. How? Rollback command. Rollback. Rollback, running configuration. And then say what checkpoint you want to use. Checkpoint, and then the checkpoint name. Right. So far what we saw is some basic commands. Giving host name, there are 2 commands, host name or switch name. Seeing a version, you type show version. If you want to see the modules installed in your device, show module. If you want to see the features that is supported based on your license, show feature. If you want to see the enable the feature, show feature, pipe symbol, include enable. If I want to see the type of interface, like 10 gig or 100 gig or whether it is FC or type of interface, type Ethernet and then the interface name. If I want to see the operating system file, if I want to see the file, or what to say for that, if I want to see the image, the system image, then type dir. If I want to create a checkpoint, I use the command checkpoint and then give a name. If I want to roll back my running configuration to a checkpoint level, I type rollback running configuration checkpoint and then the name of the checkpoint that I created. So far so good, sir. All right, now let's have a small topology before we proceed. We got Nexus 7K, switchboard trunk allow VLAN 10-20. 10-20 means the entire range between 10 to 20. Actually, we didn't create 11, 12, 13 VLANs, but I'm just saying, in case if you have VLAN 10 to 20, totally 11 VLANs, those will be allowed. So the command is same both for 7K and 5K. So no difference. So we will jump to the next one. I want to configure EtherChannel. How to configure an EtherChannel? Same as you configure on a normal switch. We configure EtherChannel. Now where I want to configure EtherChannel is, I want to configure EtherChannel on this interface. EtherChannel on Ethernet 1/11 and 10 on both the side, 5K and 2K. So if we know one, we can do on the other side. Now, as we know already that when we were doing VPC lab, we discussed like there are two different ways of enabling EtherChannel. One is through on mode, the other one is through negotiation protocol called LACP, link aggregation control protocol. Now let us see by using an LACP. Now what is our task? We need to configure the port that is connecting between 5K1. We need to configure the port that is connecting between 5K1 and 5K2. We need to configure these two ports as an EtherChannel. And we should use what? Industry standard protocol. I want to use industry standard protocol. Industry standard protocol. It's not ISP, Internet Service Provider, industry standard protocol. So it indirectly says that I should use LACP. I cannot use on mode. So what will be the first step to achieve this? If it is normal switch, we will go straight to the interface. I'll say interface Ethernet 1/10-11. That was the interface between 5K and 5K1 and 5K2. I'll say channel group. Channel group. Give any number. Let us say channel group number 11. Mode active. So I'll go to the other switch and say passive or active. But this is not enough. This is not enough on Nexus device. Now, in fact, when I try giving this command, I'll get an error. Can you guess, sir, what will be the error? What I should have done before doing this? Not necessary, sir. No, as you said, yes, that is also very important. But I didn't even think about that. It should be access or trunk. So I need to say switch port mode access. Let's assume I have said that. Now, that is normal switch. In normal switch, definitely I should say switch port mode access, or I should say switch port mode trunk. That is true. Only then I should give this command, otherwise it will throw error. Now assume that that error is not coming. This is another error. What may be the error? Not necessary, sir. Even in normal switch, not necessary. Even after this, you can go on. Yeah, it will create automatically. After this, you can go and configure interface port channel 11. Very nice, sir. No problem. No, you already said LACP. Feature LACP has to be enabled. Feature has to be enabled, right? In Nexus, everything feature. If I want to use enable LACP, I must enable the feature LACP. It may be there already, but feature is not enabled. It is there already because you got the license, but it needs to be enabled whenever you need. So feature LACP. So after giving this command, only this I can go and type this command. Only then this will be accepted. Otherwise, it will show an error. Right. So next is, now after doing this port channel, I want to make that interface as trunk. Which interface? The port channel interface as trunk. So what I'll do, as you already said, I need to go under that interface port channel. Interface port channel 1. Sorry, not 1, 11. We created 11. Interface port channel 11. I'll say switch port mode. Sorry, first I'll enable switch port, and then I'll say switch port mode trunk. Even here also, if I want to allow the VLANs from 10 to 20, I can say switch port trunk allow VLAN 10 to 20. So this is same like our normal switch. There is nothing big difference. Now there is one more common thing like our normal switch. What is that? Load balancing. Now if we want to do load balancing in this port channel, now we got two interface between this 5K1 and 5K2. We got two interfaces in which we have a port channel. Now I want to do load balancing between these two interfaces. There are various types of load balancing available. We have seen in our normal switch itself, like source MAC address based, destination MAC address based, source as well as destination MAC address based. If it is layer 3 EtherChannel, source IP address based, destination same like that. Even in Nexus we got various type of load balancing supported. Now let's say I want to configure this load balancing to do load balancing based on source and destination IP address. So what I need to do, I need to go to the global configuration mode for this. In the global configuration mode, I need to type port channel. I need to type port channel load balance. Port channel load balance Ethernet. Port channel load balance Ethernet source destination. Source destination. I think there will be an option IP, because the question is based on the source and destination IP address. There will be a lot of options, you can pick based on what you want, IP address and VLAN. So there is an option where I can do load balancing for source and destination IP address. So depending on our need or depending on the question, we can pick an option. What is important here is this command. Port channel load balancing Ethernet, put question mark and pick any one according to our need. Now, if I want to verify the ether channel as we do in a normal switch, same command here also. To verify ether channel, we say show port channel summary. This is the best command to see the ether channel. We used this command when we were in VPC class. Exam, if question says, sir, I need to check, I forgot. Yeah, if they ask, yes, definitely. Yeah, we can very easily do it. This is the command, and this command we also do in a normal switch, so it's a very familiar command. Yeah. Port channel load balancing Ethernet. I'll be very happy if this type of questions are asked, because this is not new for us. We can very well do it. Okay. Now, next is, this is somewhat, very important. I feel like very important. I want to create SVI, switched virtual interface. We know how to create SVI in a normal layer 3 switches. But how to create SVIs, or how to enable this SVI on a Nexus switch? No, in normal switch, what we will do, we'll go just straight, we'll say interface, we'll say VLAN, and then we will say 10. So that creates SVI 10 for us in a normal switch. And then what we do, if we want to give an IP address to it, we'll say IP address 10 dot maybe 1 dot 10.1. And then we type the subnet mask 255.255.255.0. So in a normal switch we do this, and we no need to even say no shutdown. It will be at Paul or by default it will be up. But in Nexus, if I want to do the same thing, first thing what I need to do is this: enable the feature. We need to enable the feature. What feature? Interface VLAN feature. This SVI is also called as interface VLAN. So I need to enable the feature first. Only then I can do this. So I'll say feature interface VLAN. Feature interface VLAN. The feature is enabled. SVI is SVI feature is enabled. Now I can go inside and any VLAN interface and give an IP address. So when you give an IP address, you need not to type subnet mask. You can simply put slash and then the CIDR notation. And we need to say no shutdown also. No shut. So this is how we can create SVI on a Nexus device. Yes, SVI. Yes, sir. Please, sir, take your time. Now we know very well about port security in normal LAN switch. Same like that. There is no command difference. There is no feature to enable. Now let's say I have an interface on 5K. So this is our 5K1. And this is our 5K2. And we got 7K. And these links we already discussed. Now I have an interface called what to say, let us say Ethernet 1/21, and on here this is 5K2. I have an interface called Ethernet, let's say 1/29, some interface. Now on this interface I have a computer whose MAC address is 001011112222, and on this I have a computer whose MAC address is 0010222444. This is the MAC address of this PC, and this is the MAC address of this PC. Now I want to enable port security and say only when the traffic comes from this MAC address you allow. Otherwise the default mode will be shut down. The port will shut down. That's the default port security mode in both normal layer 2 switch as well as in this Nexus. If some other MAC address, if some other frame comes with some other MAC address, it will shut down the port. So how to enable port security? Go under the interface, Ethernet 1/21, and say switch port port security, and then switch port security MAC address. So MAC address, by default, if I didn't specify how many MAC address, if I didn't specify, so it is going to allow only one MAC address. So that is this MAC address. This is the only MAC address I want to allow. Similarly, I will do it on 5K2. This is 5K1 I did. 5K2 I will go under Ethernet 1/29, and I will do the same thing. Now let's say I have on 7K I have an interface. Let us say 4th module, 23rd and 24th port, 2 ports, 4/24. There are 2 modules I have. On these 2 modules I want to enable port security, and I want MAC address to be dynamically learned and sticked. I don't want to give MAC address like this. I want MAC address to be learned dynamically and sticked. I don't want to give like this. This is statically giving the MAC address. So as we know, in routing and switching we learned that sticky command. Same command is available even here. So what I'll do, I'll go to the 7K switch. I'll go under the interface Ethernet 4/23-24, switch port security, switch port security. Before you enable port security, make sure these interfaces are access ports. Switch port security, switch port security, MAC address. Instead of giving MAC address, I am saying sticky. So this will dynamically learn the MAC address and it will copy to the running configuration. It will copy to the running configuration. If you want it to be permanent, then you can copy to NVRAM. Fine. So sticky command is also available here in Nexus. Giving MAC address straight on the interface is also available. By default, how many MAC address port security will allow? Only one MAC address. What if I have 5 MAC address to be allowed? As we do in normal switches, we can also do it here. Now let's say I have an interface called Ethernet 22. Ethernet 1/22 on 5K. I got an interface on 5K1. Ethernet 1/22. Now for this interface, I want this interface to be a member of VLAN 10. And then I want to enable port security allowing maximum of 5 MAC address. And 2 MAC address I want to configure statically. Out of 5, 2 I want to give statically. Let us say 0001, 0 or 1010 A, B, C, D. This is one MAC address. Another MAC address 0001, 1010. Let's say A, B, C, E. So this 2 MAC address I want to statically give. Rest of the MAC address need to be learned dynamically. So 3 address sticky I want to use. 3 address. For 3 address I would like to use sticky. How we will do? We know this very well, but simply no. I want to show just like a refresh. Same thing as you do in a normal switch. First thing, I'll go under Ethernet 1/22. I'll say switch port. And then I'll say switch port mode access. I'll say switch port access VLAN 10. And then I'll say switch port security. And then I'll say the maximum MAC address. Switch port security, maximum MAC address is 5. And then in that 5, these 2 MAC addresses are static. So what I'll do, I'll say switch port security, MAC address. This is first MAC address. Switch port security, MAC address, the second MAC address. And then followed by, I'll also say MAC address stick, so that the remaining 3 MAC addresses will be learned and sticked to the running configuration dynamically. Next is, in case if someone violates the port security rule, if violation happens, meaning 5 MAC addresses are allowed, 6th MAC address is coming, what will happen? You know very well it will shut down. That is a default action. Default action taken when the violation happens. Now, in case if the port is getting shut down because of this port security violation, I wanted to bring it back up automatically in 4 minutes. By default, it will bring in 300 seconds, which is 5 minutes. By default, it is going to bring it up. If the port goes down because of violation of port security, it will shut down and the interface will come back again in 300 seconds, which is default. Not only here, even in a normal layer 2 switch, it is default. What if I want to bring it back in 4 minutes? That is 240 seconds. I want to bring the interface in 4 minutes. If you want to do that, then you need to go to global configuration mode and type error disable recovery. This is the command, error disabled. So interface got disabled now. What is the cause for the disable? The cause. Why it became disabled? Because of P security violation. P means port security. I'm not simply writing P, it is the command. P security. Not port security, full, not PORT. P security, which means port security. What I'm saying now is not only for Nexus, it is also there in a layer 3 switch, multi-layer switch. So P security violation. P security violation. So error disabled recovery cause P security violation. And then we need to say error disable recovery interval as what? 200, and by default it is 300. I wanted to bring it up in 4 minutes, which is 240 seconds. When I say this, in 240th second, it will bring the interface up, and again if there is a violation, again it will go down. If there is no violation, then it will be remaining up. This is the automation. Right. Next. Now the next is I want to enable DHCP snooping. Why someone will enable DHCP snooping? To avoid rogue DHCP server giving IP address to our machines. I don't want a rogue DHCP, a bad DHCP, unauthorized DHCP to provide an IP address to my computers. See, DHCP is the one which gives IP address, gateway. Very important thing, IP address and gateway. If that is given by a bad guy, a rogue DHCP server, then my PC's gateway is rogue rogue network. My packet will go to my remote office via a rogue network, where he will be using his own tools to see what is going on between the offices, between the head office and the branch office. So what can I do to avoid this? I should not take IP address from the rogue DHCP. Now if I don't want to take IP address from the rogue DHCP, I need to enable DHCP snooping. DHCP snooping will protect us from DHCP spoofing. Snooping is the solution for spoofing. Spoof means someone is spoofing, means what? Someone is not an original DHCP, but that someone is shown as an original DHCP who is really not. Spoofing. So if I am not the person, if I am not the president, but if I pretend to be a president, if someone believes that I am a president, then I have spoofed the president role. That is spoofing, showing someone's identity. So likewise, if DHCP is spoofed, that's a big problem, threat. How can I avoid DHCP spoofing? By enabling DHCP snooping. Snooping is the solution for spoofing. So snooping, by enabling DHCP snooping, I can avoid DHCP server attack, DHCP spoofing. So what is the solution for this? Let's say our 5K2. This is our 5K2 device. This 5K2 device is connected to Ethernet 1/5 to 9. So Ethernet 1/5 to 9. These are the interfaces. and these interfaces are running VLAN 100. And I want to name this VLAN as sales VLAN, sales department VLAN. Sales department VLAN. Now to provide IP address to this members in sales, I have a DHCP server. I have a DHCP server, and this is the authorized DHCP server to provide IP address to VLAN 100 members. So this also will be in VLAN 100. So let's say that interface is Ethernet 1/4. So 4 is the one which is giving the IP address. 5 to 9 are the interface that is going to take the IP address and give it to the PCs down below. The 4 PCs. Okay. Now I'm going to enable the DHCP snooping where on this 5K. I'm enabling DHCP snooping on this 5K. What it has to do is it has to identify the rogue DHCP server. Now how it works? See, here is a rogue DHCP server. Means, he is a bad guy in the office. He is also in VLAN 100. And let's say his interface is Ethernet 1/15. This guy pretends to be a DHCP, the spoofing guy. The spoofing guy. He is not a genuine DHCP, but he pretends as a DHCP server. So what happens when this sales computers send a layer 2 broadcast asking for a DHCP server, both the DHCP server will respond to the layer 2 broadcast. Now this PCs on sales will receive response from 2 DHCP server. So what happens, the sales group, they will go and they will continue negotiation with only the DHCP which comes first. Let me repeat again. The sales group have sent a layer 2 broadcast asking for who is DHCP server in this network. So that goes to every device in VLAN 100. It goes to the genuine DHCP server as well as the rogue DHCP server. Now both the DHCP server will respond. Now when they respond, there is very less chance for both to come at the same time. Definitely one will be first and the other will be second. Now whichever comes first, whichever the response comes first, from whomever the response comes first, to them only the sales group will continue their negotiation in getting IP address. So DHCP, if a bad DHCP comes first saying I am the DHCP server, my address is 10.1.1.20, and this DHCP server says I am also a DHCP server, my address is 10.1.1.2. Now who is genuine? 10.1.1.2. But for some reason, for some bandwidth reason, or if the server is a bit slow, this genuine DHCP server's response came second and the rogue DHCP server response comes first. Maybe in the network this may be very near than the genuine DHCP server. Because of this reason, the sales will go and request for an IP address only to the rogue DHCP server. And rogue DHCP server will register the MAC address of sales group in a DHCP binding table and provide an IP address, gateway, DNS, all this. Now sales will move their packet according to the gateway given by the rogue. That is very dangerous. Now how can we avoid this? is like this. I go and enable DHCP snooping and I say trust only this interface. Trust. When I say trust on one single interface, all the other interfaces are untrusted, meaning if the DHCP response comes from other interface like 1/15 here, will not be accepted. DHCP response are expected only on this interface. So what happens is the sales is sending a broadcast, though the genuine DHCP and the rogue DHCP is responding, only the genuine DHCP response is reaching to the sales group, not the rogue one. Rogue one response will come here, and because it is untrusted, stopped, will not be forwarded to the sales group. Now sales have got only contact with the real DHCP server, not with the rogue. This is what DHCP snooping is. We got a rogue, we got a genuine DHCP server here. This is a genuine DHCP server connected here, and this PC needs an IP address. This PC needs an IP address. It needs an IP address. It sends a layer 2 request. The request goes this way, this way, this way. So it goes to even the rogue device. Rogue device responds first because it's very near, and genuine DHCP server, maybe due to STP, it may not take all the path. Because of that, it takes a long route and comes to the requester. It came late. Now, whom this guy will use as a DHCP server? It is a rogue one. To avoid that, what I can do is I can go and enable trust on here, on here also. This is one way, but this is how you have to do. You need to do trust on all the trunk ports. On this switch, trust, 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 but this is untrust. When you don't say trust, it is going to be untrust. So all this to be trust, 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 trust. You got an idea, sir? No. Yeah, sir. You no need to say untrust. You only say the path through which you receive a DHCP response. You know your network, and you know how the DHCP response, via which path you will be receiving the DHCP response. Only those path you enable DHCP snooping, snooping, correct, DHCP snooping, trust. So only when it's okay. What is the other part of explanation? Wherever you didn't say trust, they are all going to be untrusted. So I need not to know that rogue is here. Rogue can be here, rogue can be here, anywhere. Because those interfaces are untrusted, I will not receive a DHCP response from those interfaces. I receive only from the interface that is configured as trust. If the response comes from here, blocked. Response comes from here, blocked, because they were not defined as trust. It won't take you inside. Yeah. Now that is what, when we enable DHCP snooping, you enable the feature to identify the reply packet. The switches you are giving the intelligence for the switch to identify the DHCP response. Switches can identify the DHCP. Switches can say this is a DHCP response packet, and it will check whether this particular interface is eligible to give this. Correct. All the interface in the path should be trusted. Yeah. And field number 69, but it is an optional field now. You no need to do that. In older switches, we used to enable field number 69, which is enabling the capability of identifying the DHCP response. Now it gets enabled automatically. You no need to do that. We need to just enable DHCP snooping globally, and we need to say for what VLAN you are enabling. In our discussion, it is for VLAN 100, and then I need to go and say trust Ethernet 1/14. Trust this interface, and all the other interface will be untrusted. That enables DHCP snooping. So now let us quickly do this. What is the interface we discussed here? I think I discussed like Ethernet 5 to 1/529 is connected to VLAN 100, and these are DHCP clients. And we got a server on Ethernet 1/4 server DHCP. Let's see how to configure this. First of all, create VLAN 100, name it. Where do we do this? Global configuration mode. Go interface Ethernet 1/529, switch port mode, access, switch port access, VLAN 100, and then we go under this interface. We give the same command, interface Ethernet 1/4, switch port mode access, VLAN 100. I should have included this in the range command in the previous statement. Anyway, no problem. Next is globally I need to enable the feature. Globally I need to enable the feature by saying what? By saying by saying feature DHCP snooping. You know, in Nexus everything has to be enabled, feature has to be enabled. So I enabled feature DHCP snooping. After that, just feature is enabled, but DHCP is not started using. So for that, this command IP DHCP snooping. Where do you do this command? We do this command on global. Both the commands are in the global. This enables the feature. This starts the snooping job. Now what happens, when I say IP DHCP snooping, all the interfaces are untrusted on the switch. Untrusted. Now what I'll do, okay, one more thing. All the interface on which VLAN? I'll say IP DHCP. We must say for what VLAN. Only then snooping will be enabled. For VLAN 100, snooping is enabled now. Now all the interface in VLAN 100 will be untrusted. Now what I'll do, I'll go under interface Ethernet 1/4, which is the interface where genuine DHCP is configured, and I'll say IP DHCP, snooping, trust. That's all. So this interface will accept DHCP response, all the other interface won't. Yes, sir.